Hey guys, Kyle here. If you've been wanting to set up a WordPress website but feel overwhelmed by all the technical details, this tutorial is for you. HostGator WordPress hosting makes this process super simple because WordPress comes pre-installed into it, and the platform is already optimized for beginners. In this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know on how to launch your first website on HostGator with WordPress. By the end of this video, you'll have a live website that you can customize and grow consistently. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, first things first, before I show you guys what HostGator is and how it works, let's talk about what it actually does in the first place. Now, if you've ever thought about wanting to build a website, whether that's a portfolio website, an e-commerce store, or even just a business website in general, there's really two ways to go about doing that. The first of these is to use a pre-existing website builder like WordPress, Squarespace, or even HostGator. Now, the second option for this is to custom code your very own website and then use a hosting service to host a domain for that website. This is where HostGator comes into play. One of the biggest benefits about this is that they have WordPress basically built right into its infrastructure, meaning that you can do two things at once and effectively save yourself a ton of time and a ton of money. So without further ado, let's show you how to get started with HostGator and how to actually set it up. The first thing you're going to want to do is click that link in the description for HostGator. Once you click that link, you'll be brought to this page right here. As you can see, you can get started for only $2.99 a month plus 30-day money back guarantee. We simply click on this little get started button right here, which will take us to their pricing plans. They have a hatchling plan, a baby plan, a business plan, and their pro plan. Each of these come at different price points with different features that you can choose from. In my opinion, most of you aren't going to need anything crazy, especially if you're just building your very first website and getting it hosted. I'd recommend going something like either the hatchling plan or the baby plan, which you'll save a ton of money in doing so. As you can see, I can click on this choose plan button right here, which will take me to their checkout page. Now, one of the big benefits about HostGator is that they actually make sure that the domain that you're looking for is available on their website in the first place, which is huge, especially when you consider the fact that there's tons of hosting services out there that don't do this for you. They let you sign up, pay the money, and unfortunately, your domain isn't available on their service. This will save us a ton of time and a headache in the future. Just for this example, let's say I want to register a new domain, and I'm just going to think of any random domain, something like my domain is super cool and awesome. Yes. Make sure that your domain is much better than this. This is clearly, obviously, just an example. Then we can hit the search for a domain button here, which will take a few seconds to load, and then it will bring us to the HostGator checkout. What we basically just did right there is essentially lock in that domain. And then as you can see here, it comes with a couple of different options that we can choose as additional add-ons for this specific pricing plan. The first one here is having a .com domain, which is kind of the default domain that most people are very familiar with and trust. So I'd highly recommend that you try to get a .com domain if you can, depending on what kind of domain service you're planning on going with. As you can see, we get that for $0 with this plan, which is a pretty good deal in my opinion. And the first year for free, and then after that, it's $12.99 for the coming years after that, which is still very affordable, very cheap, pretty on par with most other hosting services, if not actually priced a little bit below, so you're getting even more of a discount. There's also some other things you can add on to here too, like domain privacy protection. Then you can also kind of mess around with some of the pay periods and stuff like that. As you can see, we can switch to that monthly option here if you want to, not have to worry, although they will take away that first year of a free domain for you, which will come out to about $12 here. Now, just for the sake of this video, just to kind of show you how to get this set up, I'm going to go ahead and remove the domain privacy. I don't really need that right now. I'm going to remove the professional email trial, and then I'm honestly probably going to remove the .com domain too. I'd highly recommend you get your own .com domain, but this is just an example video. You guys obviously can make your own decisions depending on what looks interesting to you. Now, once this looks good, also 30-day money back guarantee in case you ever don't like anything or if there's anything issues. Now, there's a couple of other things you also have as add-ons here, extra protections, selling online, things like that. These aren't really that useful, and more than likely, you're probably not going to have to worry about them too much. Once that all looks good, you'll hit the continue to checkout button. Then you'll enter in all of your details, your first name, last name, country, address, city, all that kind of fun stuff. Once you have all your credit card details inputted, you simply click on the submit payment button. It'll take a few seconds to load everything up and to process your payment. Once they process your payment and everything looks all good, it'll take you into the next step. As you can see, they say congratulations, your order has been successfully created, and then they give you your account ID and you can start logging into your account, as well as a little payment kind of update on what you just paid for. Now we'll hit this little blue log into account button, and this will take us to the HostGator dashboard. And boom, just like that. This is the other part of this tutorial, is the WordPress part. As you can see, your new WordPress site is installing currently, which is awesome. It comes with a pre-built WordPress website already built into this, which is just so cool. We can hit that little login button, which will take us to our WordPress account, and it'll kind of show us a little onboarding setup here, which makes it super easy to kind of go through this setup. You can hit the start setup button. You can kind of tell them, what your experience is, what kind of thing you're trying to build. Let's say we're trying to build like a personal website, or then you can even type in what you're trying to do. Continue setup. You can say, is this going to be a creative portfolio? Or are you going to be an influencer, photography, right? So on and so forth. We'll just say it's like a blog. We'll continue the setup here. Introduce us. Again, I can just type in a bunch of random stuff for this. It doesn't really matter too much. Hit the next button here. Top priority, publishing, cool. And then it's preparing for the design studio, so we can start messing around with themes. They have a bunch of pre-built themes that you can select from, so you don't even have to worry about building anything from scratch. They have a awesome selection here of some pretty good looking themes already, depending specifically on the type of website you're trying to build, which can be really helpful. Let's just say we want to go with this one, for example. And there's also the ability to customize the colors and the fonts and almost anything you can imagine. This already actually looks really good though, surprisingly. We'll hit the next button here, and then going into the next part is the design process. Once again, we can make changes to this however we see fit, right? Put our logo at the top there. We want to change the overall nav bar, right? We can make all those changes pretty easily inside of the WordPress onboarding screen that we're going through. And then hit the next button here. Again, nothing too much. And there's also page templates that you can add, like a contact page, about us page, testimonials, all that fun stuff. Once everything, looks good, you can hit the next button, and they're going to start building your HostGator site. Then you just complete your setup, and it should be good to go. Now you're inside of the WordPress site editor, specifically using HostGator as your hosting platform. And as you can see, you can start messing around with this. You can go to your dashboard, start messing around with email marketing. You can go to pages, media. You can do pretty much anything you can think of inside of your add plugins, right? If you want to do e-commerce, all kinds of features that are going to be really helpful when you're building this. Go to the pages section here. You can start editing these. Let's say we want to edit the about page, hit the edit button, which will take me into WordPress's website editor. And as you can see, I can start making changes to this pretty much on the fly, and make it say anything I want, right? And say hi there, right? Change the font, the overall sizing, the position of things, change these images. You can replace them with stuff. You can make pretty much any change you can think of. And it's super intuitive too. All very, user-friendly, drag and drop functions and everything like that. Once everything looks good here, you'll hit that save button in the top right corner here, and you can actually publish this as an official website that people can visit. They can use your domain that you have through HostGator. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is inside of HostGator, this is where you're going to get your domain for your website. As you can see, this is my temporary site that I have right here. It doesn't have an official domain yet, but I can go into settings. Once I'm inside of settings, I can go to domains, and then inside of domains, this is where I can add my domain by clicking on this add domain button. I'll enter in my domain name if I already own it, and then it'll add that domain name. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do I get domains? You go to the domains tab right here. Once you're on the domain tab, you can add domain. You either get a brand new domain, transfer an existing domain that you have, or connect an external domain. These are all very useful. And again, you can just look for, any website, that you can think of, right? I'll just type in something like your domain will be so cool, right? Something stupid like that. Hit the search button. Okay, cool. It's available. This will bring us to their search page where we can see how much these domains would be depending on what kind of domain we're looking for, and then end up, purchasing that by adding it to the cart, which is pretty handy and pretty cool indeed. That's pretty much it though, guys. Again, super easy process. Highly recommend doing this if you want to save some money in the process and get a website hosted as quickly as possible. This is one of the fastest ways to do that. If you guys have any questions about this process, make sure to leave them down in the comments section. Make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Also, if you're interested in getting started with HostGator, I would highly recommend using that link down in the description. And please remember that the links down in the description are affiliate links, and we could monetarily benefit from them at no extra cost to you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.